In 1987, a retired postal worker in Omaha died with $11 million in brokerage accounts. He never earned more than $40,000 a year. His neighbors had no idea. The IRS thought it was a mistake. It was not. He used money tricks that Wall Street spent decades convincing you were outdated or too slow to bother with. Number 14 on this list was taught in every American high school home economics class. They stopped teaching it in 1994. Number 7 was so effective that credit card companies lobbied to have the information buried. And number 3 would put half the financial advisory industry out of business if everyone knew about it. These 20 tricks were not forgotten by accident. They were erased on purpose. Before we start, hit subscribe, because what you are about to learn is worth more than any raise you will ever get. Let us count down. Number 20. Round up savings into a separate account. Your grandmother kept a coffee can in the kitchen cabinet. Every time she broke a dollar, the coins went into the can. She never touched it. By Christmas, there was $300 sitting there, adjusted for inflation closer to $800 in today's money. The modern version is simple. Set your bank account to round every purchase up to the nearest dollar and sweep the difference into a savings account you never look at. Buy a coffee for $4.30 and 70 cents moves automatically. A 2021 study from the National Bureau of Economic Research found that people who used automated roundup systems saved an average of $47 a month without noticing any change in their spending habits. That is $564 a year from money you would have spent on nothing. The trick is not the amount, it is the invisibility. Your brain does not register the loss, but the account registers the gain. Every single month, that $564 a year saved in a high-yield savings account earning 4% turns into over $14,000 in 20 years without you lifting a finger. Spare change. That is what built it. Number 19. The 48-hour purchase rule. Before credit cards existed, buying something expensive required physically going to the store, counting out cash, and handing it over. That friction was a financial safety net most people never appreciated. When you want to buy anything over $50 that is not a necessity, you write it down and wait 48 hours. If you still want it after 2 days, buy it. A behavioral economics study at Princeton found that 72% of impulse purchases are regretted within a week. Applying the 48-hour rule eliminates the majority of those purchases. On average, participants saved over $2,200 annually just by pausing. No budgeting app, no spreadsheet, no willpower required, just a piece of paper and a pencil. Your great-grandmother called this sleeping on it. She was right. Number 18. Paying yourself first. In 1926, the book The Richest Man in Babylon laid out the simplest wealth-building rule ever written. Before you pay rent, before you buy groceries, before you do anything with your paycheck, take 10% and put it somewhere you will not touch it. Not after bills, before bills. The order matters because human beings spend what is available. If your check is $1,000, you will find a way to spend $1,000. But if your check hits and $500 goes to a separate account before you ever see it, you will find a way to live on the remaining $500. A 2019 Vanguard study confirmed that automatic payroll deductions into savings accounts increased total savings rates by 83% compared to manual transfers. The psychology is simple. You cannot spend what you never see. Depression-era families knew this instinctively. They hid cash in mattresses, in walls, in books on the shelf, not because they were paranoid, because they understood that money in your hand is money already gone. Number 17. Buying in bulk at loss leaders. Every week, grocery stores sell certain items below cost. Milk at $1.99, eggs at $2, chicken breasts at $1.49 a pound. They lose money on these products deliberately to get you through the door, hoping you will fill your cart with high-margin items on the way to the register. Your grandmother knew the trick. She bought only the loss leaders. She would drive to 3 different stores in one morning, buying nothing but the discounted items at each one, then filling her freezer for the month. A University of Chicago study found that strategic loss leader shopping reduced annual grocery bills by 18 to 23%. For a family spending $800 a month on groceries, that is nearly $2,000 a year. Supermarkets call these customers cherry pickers. They hate them, which means it works. The key is discipline. You walk in, you grab the loss leader, you walk out. You do not browse. You do not wander into the snack aisle. You treat the store like a surgical mission, in and out in under 10 minutes. That discipline is what separated families who retired comfortably from families who worked until they could not anymore. Number 16, negotiating every recurring bill. Your phone bill, your internet bill, your insurance premium, your credit card interest rate. Every single one of these is negotiable, but Americans almost never try. A survey in 2022 by Consumer Reports found that 70% of people who called to negotiate a bill succeeded in getting a reduction. The average savings was around $200 per account per year. Call your cable company and tell them you are considering switching. Call your insurance provider and ask them to re-quote based on current rates. Call your credit card company and request a lower annual percentage rate. The entire conversation takes 12 minutes on average. Some people save over $1,000 a year from 4 phone calls. Your grandfather haggled at every counter he stood at. He negotiated the price of a used car, a washing machine, and his mortgage rate. We stopped negotiating because companies trained us to believe the price on the screen is final. It almost never is. First pattern break. Here is where things start getting serious. The envelope system was the dominant household budgeting method in America from the 1930s through the 1970s. Your grandmother would cash her husband's paycheck on Friday, then divide the physical bills into labeled envelopes. Groceries, rent, gas, church, entertainment. When the grocery envelope was empty, you stopped buying groceries that week. No overdraft, no credit line, no negotiation with yourself. The cash was either there or it was not. A 2020 study published in the Journal of Consumer Research found that people who used cash spent 12 to 18% less than those who used cards. The physical pain of handing over paper money activates the same brain regions as actual physical pain. Swiping a card does not. Credit card companies know this. Visa's own internal research from 2016 showed that customers spend an average of 83% more per transaction when using credit instead of cash. They spent billions making plastic feel painless, and we forgot that the pain was the point. Number 14. Using the library as a financial tool. This is the one they stopped teaching in schools. A single library card gives you free access to books, audiobooks, movies, music streaming, digital magazines, online courses, language learning platforms, resume building software, and, in many cities, free museum passes, tool lending, and even Wi-Fi hotspot devices you can check out for weeks. The American Library Association estimates the average household could save over $2,000 a year by using library resources instead of paid subscriptions. A Netflix subscription, an Audible membership, a Spotify premium account, a masterclass subscription, and a newspaper paywall. All of that is free at your local library. Yet library usage has dropped 31% since 2000, not because the resources got worse. They got dramatically better. But nobody told you, because every dollar you spend at the library is a dollar Netflix and Amazon do not get. Number 13, the 1% raise trick. Every time you get a raise, increase your savings rate by 1%. Not the whole raise, just 1%. If you make $50,000 and get a 3% raise, your new salary is $51,500. Take 1% of that, $515. and add it to your automatic savings, you still get to enjoy most of the raise. But that tiny increment compounds in ways that shock people. A Fidelity analysis showed that someone starting at age 25, saving just 1% more of their salary each year, would retire with 40% more money than someone who kept their savings rate flat. Not 40% more contributions, but 40% more total wealth. Because compound interest does the heavy lifting. Your grandfather never got a raise without putting something extra aside. He called it paying the future first. Financial planners now charge $200 an hour to tell you the same thing. Number 12. Buying used for the first year. Buy 1-year-old to avoid depreciation. Cars lose 20% of their value the moment you drive them off the lot. Furniture, electronics, exercise equipment, tools, musical instruments. Nearly everything depreciates fastest in the first 12 months. Depression-era families bought almost nothing new. Not because they could not afford it, but because they understood that someone else's impatience was their opportunity. A 2023 analysis by IC Cars found that buying a 1-year-old car instead of new saved an average of $12,700 per vehicle. Across a lifetime of car ownership, that adds up to over $100,000. Facebook Marketplace, Craigslist, estate sales, and thrift stores have made this easier than ever. Yet Americans still spend 87% of their consumer budget on new goods. We were trained to associate used with poor. Your grandmother associated it with smart. Number 11. Cooking from a weekly meal plan. Before DoorDash and Uber Eats, your mother sat down on Sunday morning with the grocery store circular and a pad of paper. She planned 7 dinners, wrote 1 shopping list, and bought exactly what she needed. Nothing more. The USDA estimates that the average American household throws away over $1,600 worth of food every year. Meal planning eliminates almost all of that waste. A 2022 study from the University of Vermont found that families who planned meals weekly spent 25% less on food overall and reported eating healthier. The math is stark. A family of 4 eating out 3 times a week at modest restaurants spends roughly $12,000 a year on dining. The same family cooking from a meal plan spends around $5,000. That $7,000 difference is a vacation. It is an emergency fund. It is a down payment building quietly in the background. Second pattern break. This one makes financial advisors uncomfortable. Treasury Series 1 Savings Bonds. The United States government sells bonds directly to citizens at treasurydirect.gov with interest rates that adjust for inflation. In late 2022, I-bonds were paying 9.62% interest with 0 risk of loss. You could buy up to $10,000 per person per year. The catch is there is a 1-year lockup period and a small penalty if you sell before 5 years. But the return was higher than the stock market, higher than any savings account, and backed by the full faith of the United States government. Your grandparents bought savings bonds religiously. They gave them as gifts at graduations and weddings. It was the most common investment vehicle for working-class Americans for 50 years. Then Wall Street convinced everyone that bonds were boring, and stocks were the only path to wealth. Meanwhile, during the 2022 market crash, people holding I-bonds earned nearly 10%, while the S&P 500 lost 20%. Boring turned out to be brilliant. Number 9. The cash-only weekend. Pick 1 weekend a month. Withdraw a fixed amount of cash, say $80, and leave your cards at home. For 48 hours, that cash is all you have for food, entertainment, gas, everything. When it runs out, the spending stops. Behavioral researchers at MIT found that cash-only spending periods reduce total monthly expenditure by an average of 14%. The constraint forces creativity. You cook instead of ordering. You go to the park instead of the movies. You discover that most of what you spend money on during weekends is not buying happiness. It is buying convenience you do not actually need. This is not deprivation. This is awareness. And awareness, it turns out, is the most profitable financial tool ever invented. Number 8. Maintaining everything you own. In the 1950s, Americans repaired their shoes, mended their clothes, changed their own oil, and fixed leaking faucets on Saturday mornings. Today, we throw away and replace. A 2021 report from the Ellen MacArthur Foundation estimated that the average American household could save over $3,000 per year by maintaining and repairing items instead of replacing them at the first sign of wear. A pair of quality leather shoes, resold for $40, lasts another 5 years. A new pair costs $200. A washing machine serviced annually for $60 runs for 20 years. A replacement costs $800. Your grandfather kept a toolbox in the garage, and he used it. He did not watch YouTube tutorials about minimalism while ordering a new coffee maker because the old one dripped. He fixed the drip. He sharpened the mower blade instead of buying a new mower. He patched the driveway instead of repaving it. The repair economy was not a lifestyle choice. It was common sense that saved more money than most investment accounts. Every time you throw something away and order a replacement, you are paying a tax on impatience. Your grandfather refused to pay it. Number 7. Paying credit cards twice a month. Third pattern break. Credit card companies do not want you to know how interest is actually calculated. It is not based on your statement balance. It is based on your average daily balance. If you carry a $2,000 balance all month and pay it off on the due date, you paid interest on the full $2,000 for 30 days. But if you make a payment of $1,000 on the 15th and the remaining $1,000 on the due date, your average daily balance drops dramatically, and you pay significantly less interest. For someone carrying $5,000 in revolving credit card debt at 24% APR, switching to buy, weekly payments can save over $600 a year in interest alone. The credit card industry generates over $100 billion annually in interest charges. They built their entire business model on you paying once a month, as late as possible. Your grandmother paid every bill the day it arrived, not because she was anxious, because she understood that time and money move in the same direction. Number 6. The No Spend Challenge. Pick one category of spending and eliminate it entirely for 30 days. No eating out, no new clothes, no subscription boxes, no impulse buys at Target. The goal is not punishment, it is revelation. A 2020 study by Ramsey Solutions found that participants in 30-day no-spend challenges saved an average of $750 in a single month, and, critically, reduced their spending in that category by 40% permanently, even after the challenge ended. The brain resets. You discover you do not actually need the thing you were buying on autopilot every week. That daily Starbucks, that Amazon order, that streaming service you watch once a month. Removing it for 30 days breaks the habit loop, and the money stays in your account. Number 5. Automating bill payments to avoid late fees. Americans paid over $14 billion in late fees in 2023, not because they did not have the money, because they forgot to pay. Setting up autopay on every recurring bill eliminates late fees entirely, and in many cases earns you a discount. Insurance companies offer 5 to 15% reductions for autopay customers. Utility companies waive service charges. Credit card accounts avoid penalty annual percentage rate increases. A Nerd Wallet analysis found that the average household pays over $400 a year in avoidable late fees and penalty charges. Your grandmother did not have autopay, but she had a calendar on the kitchen wall with every due date circled in red ink. She never missed one. Not once. The method has changed. The principle has not. Number 4. House hacking. Fourth pattern break. Before the term existed, working-class families did this instinctively. You buy a duplex, live in one unit, and rent the other. The rental income covers most or all of your mortgage. A 2023 BiggerPockets survey found that the average house hacker reduced their housing costs by 62%. and 23% of respondents lived completely mortgage-free within 3 years. Your grandparents took in boarders. They rented out the spare room above the garage. They let the upstairs apartment to a young couple just starting out. Housing was their largest expense, so they found a way to make it pay for itself. Today, with Airbnb and long-term rental platforms, the opportunity is even larger. Yet most Americans never consider it, because somewhere along the way we decided that sharing space was beneath us. Meanwhile, housing eats 35% of the average household income. Number 3, investing in index funds and never touching them. In 1976, Jack Bogle created the first index fund at Vanguard. Wall Street laughed at him. They called it Bogle's Folly. The idea was simple. Instead of paying a fund manager 2% a year to pick stocks and losing to the market 85% of the time, you buy a fund that holds every stock in the index, charges almost nothing in fees, and never sell. Over the last 30 years, the S&P 500 has averaged roughly 10% a year. Someone investing $300 a month, starting at age 25, would have over $1.1 million at age 65, even adjusting for inflation. The financial advisory industry charges Americans over $600 billion in fees every year. Most of those fees pay for performance that does not beat a simple index fund you can buy yourself for almost nothing. Your grandfather might not have known the words index fund, but he knew the principle. Put money in, leave it alone, let time do the work. Number 2, living on last month's income. This is the trick that separates people who are always stressed about money from people who never think about it. Instead of spending this month's paycheck this month, you spend last month's paycheck. You build a 1-month buffer in your checking account, so every bill you pay today was earned 30 days ago. A 2021 survey by You Need a Budget found that users who achieved a 1-month buffer reported a 54% reduction in financial stress. The buffer eliminates the paycheck-to-paycheck cycle entirely. No more checking your balance before buying gas. No more timing bill payments around direct deposits. No more holding your breath when rent is due. Building the buffer takes most people 3 to 6 months of aggressive saving. But once it is there, your relationship with money changes permanently. You stop reacting. You start planning. And planning is where wealth begins. Number 1, teaching your children about money before school does. The single most valuable financial trick on this list costs nothing and takes almost no time. Talk to your kids about money, not when they are 18, when they are 5. A 2013 Cambridge University study commissioned by the UK Money Advice Service found that financial habits are largely set by age 7 years old. By the time most parents have the money talk, the habits are already hardwired. Depression-era families brought children to the bank. They gave them coins to count. They let them see the bills being paid at the kitchen table. They did not hide money behind closed doors and then wonder why their kids grew up financially illiterate. Today, 76% of American adults say they wish they had learned more about money as children. The education was available. It was free. It was sitting right there at the dinner table. We just stopped doing it. Here is the truth. Not one of these 20 tricks requires a degree, a financial advisor, or a high-paying job. The retired postal worker in Omaha used at least 6 of them. He bought index funds. He paid himself first. He lived on last month's income. He bought everything used. He cooked from a plan. And he never touched his investments. $11 million on a postal worker's salary. Try one this week. Just one. Try the 48-hour rule, a cash-only weekend, or a library card. Then come back and tell me your grandmother did not know exactly what she was doing.